Hey, fellow pickers, my name is Mike Crafton, and I'm coming to you from the redwoods of Northern California.
And my name is Carl Mandrilli, and I'm coming to you from Castle Rock, Colorado.
Hey, buddy, what's happening? What's going on?
Let's see what is going on this week. That's a good question. I got a story for you.
You
Got a
do?
little story.
Is it about being buried in snow?
We did get some snow, but it's not being buried in snow. We're not. I don't live in Buffalo.
Oh, geez. Did you see all like 77 inches in Buffalo
Yeah,
overnight? That was
yeah,
crazy.
that is crazy. So we're old, man, talking about the weather. That's what old people do, right? That's what you talk
Is this
about.
chit chat? We just start off with chit chat. Is that the way it works?
My story is not about the weather. My story is about something I found. And I guess it's like a show and tell. So for those that are watching on YouTube, you're going to get a chance to see it. And then,
Okay.
Mike, maybe you can describe what you're seeing here for everybody who's listening on audio. So something that I found on the side of the road in my neighborhood, and I grabbed it. I don't know if this is good or not. I don't know if this is a good pick. So you can weigh in with your opinion. Okay, you ready for it?
Is it a dead raccoon?
That would be amazing. We do have some dead stuff around. Porcupines are better, but no.
Okay.
It's not a dead animal. Okay, ready? So here it is.
Yep. What do you got? Uh-oh. Sounds heavy.
It's heavy.
Whoa. That is pretty cool. So what we're looking at is it is a bear. It's a lamp. It's a lamp, on for a corner table, and it's carved into a bear. And it's got this cool. What's the lampshade look like? It's got a cool lampshade on it. Looks like it's got yarn around the lampshade. Oh, it's got some design. Is that a
yarn? What is she talking about? Yarn?
was it leather?
I don't
Come
know.
on.
I don't know. Oh, right here. Oh, yeah. This is
Yeah,
that's like leather strapping. I don't know what you call that thing.
leather. So
Something
is
that
that a rawhide lampshade or is it just
I think
plastic?
so. I don't. Feels like rawhide. It's a good question.
You don't have details for me. Why aren't you
No,
coming
I don't know. There's
prepared?
no markings on it. I don't know anything about this. There's literally no markings. It looks like it's hand carved. It's super heavy. It's why I struggled so much getting this up onto the camera here. I'm
Yeah.
still not holding it well on the camera. I apologize, but you can see the guy's face here.
Yeah.
Right there.
What? Why don't you put it up on our social medias? Take a picture of it and put it up on the social media.
I'll do that too. But yeah, so because there's no markings, I don't know how to list it or what the value is. It's heavy, so this would be super. This is sendable with a really large box, but more likely I'd want to sell this locally. But I have no idea what to price it at. I tried looking it up. I can't find anything quite similar. So, what's your take, Mike? I'm gonna put it
$125.99 plus shipping.
Okay, I'm sure it went for something like that originally, or probably more than that. But
Somebody put a lot of work into that thing.
They did.
For
so,
sure.
All right. That's
Cool,
my stories.
brother.
I found that. I picked it up and I put it down in my basement, and I have to list it at some point. So there you
Found on the
go.
side of the road. I love those kinds.
Side of the road. Yep.
All
Right.
right,
What do you got this week?
I've got a story for you too. So I went to an estate sale and I picked up, it was the coolest find. It was a vintage 1956 Yahtzee board game, right? Or the dice game.
Yeah.
So picked it.
Do you know what Yahtzee is? Yes.
Do you know what that thing is? So I picked it up for $2. It was on half price day. I got it home. It was in super great shape, original dice, original cup, all that stuff. I got it home and it didn't have the instruction manual in it. So I was like, dang it, man, what am I going to do? I'm like, what would Carl do? And so I looked it up on eBay real quick just for the instruction manuals, right? To see if anybody was selling it. A guy was selling it $12.99. So now I'm into this thing.
Gosh.
13, 14, 15. Hey, it's not a bad deal because comps are going for like 20 to 25 right now. It's still a $5 profit.
Okay. Well, what would it be going for without the manual? It would be my question.
Incomplete set.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all relative. You could sell it for whatever you wanted to, but it's not complete. I want to sell good, complete stuff.
Even at the risk of losing profit in the process.
Yeah, I did have to do my homework and make sure that I wasn't going to lose any profit on this thing. That, if the manual was like $20 or something like that and comps are going for $19.99, that's ridiculous. But it was
no.
cool.
I'm saying, I'm not saying that you're not going to get profit. It sounds like you did your homework with that. I'm saying that you might lose some profit. So you're not going to make as much profit if you go and make it a complete set versus you sell it partially complete.
Yeah, absolutely. Good idea. I could have tried. I didn't see any incomplete sets out there. I saw some pretty ratty ones though that were in much worse shape than mine was.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I want an
something.
update on that. I want to know how much you end up selling it for and kind of how that all shakes out.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that really excited me about it was one, I really love vintage stuff, but two is I'm really into Yahtzee, so I was really happy I found
Okay.
it.
All right. All right. Nice, man. Well, this,
Yeah.
speaking of, we just had some kind of positive stories there. We got to transition this episode into like train wreck
Ugh,
transactions. Yeah.
train wrecks.
Train wrecks.
These kind of conversations give me anxiety to even think about all week long, right? Jeez.
Awkwardness, just like uncomfortable interactions.
I think
And
you're thriving off of that.
well, it's funny to me after the fact. In the moment,
Uh,
sometimes I'm just thinking to myself, is this, like how do I get out of the situation basically?
right.
So I came up with four myself, and one was like what was it, last summer? So one's recent. So even with experience, I still run into these situations. So how many
Mhm.
did you cope with?
I've got one so far, but
Okay.
I'm sure there's plenty of well, I have one and one reasoning why I don't like the awkward situation. So
Okay.
and it's awkward as it is. It's awkward enough.
Like that must have been tough. You had to come up with a reason to not like an awkward situation. That's tough right there.
I had to come up with a reason not to talk about awkward situations. That's what it was.
Okay.
What do you
Mike
got? What's your
is
story?
very socially appropriate, and so he can smooth things over and make things not socially awkward very easily. So when when you're up to your knees in awkwardness, I bet it would be very uncomfortable for you.
Yes, it
Yeah.
definitely is.
So, all right. Well, I should probably go first then, right? Because you only got one to share.
Yeah, go ahead and go first.
Okay, let me look at my. All right. I'll start off with like a mild one. How about that?
And you strike me as good at handling awkward situations. I know you've shared with me before that you're not real comfortable with awkward situations, but I feel like you are real good with awkward situations.
Sometimes, I mean, sometimes you kind of like haphazardly create them. Like you'll say something without thinking, and then suddenly like somebody takes it the wrong way, or you just can't
Mhm,
afford those things.
mhm.
I'll start off with a mild one just to give you a taste, and then you can tell me how you'd handle this one. All right.
Okay,
So
go for it.
this is few years back. We were selling a minivan. Okay.
Hmm.
Now you got to consider who's going to be buying the minivan. It's going to
Hmm.
be a family. And we were selling it. I think it might have been this time of year, November. So it was colder outside. And so a family shows up to test out the minivan. And so, it was like, mom, dad, and I think two or three kids, like really young kids.
Right.
And the dad was like, I'll just test it out with me. Like he wanted to go drive around. He wanted to check it out.
Okay.
And so then his family's just like, there
Oh, at your house,
at my house,
and it's cold.
and it's cold outside, so they didn't want to like stay in the car. So they're like it was just, like, what do you do? So my wife's super friendly, so she's like, did you
Yeah.
want to come in? Like, I guess we can host you right now and try to find some toys and dig up some things that you can play with.
Wow.
And so, this is kind of just like a no-no is having people inside your house that you're selling something to, unless you're selling something inside your house where they have to physically remove it. And so like we went on a drive while I left my wife and kids with a family, like the rest of
Uh,
the guy's family, to host and to like take care of for a transaction it wasn't guaranteed. Like
right.
where we go wrong, Mike?
Well, I need to know a little bit more context. So, like, was it a normal looking family? What age were the kids? Did you guys have? Was it like the guy showed up and you invited him in your house, or the guy showed up, you guys chatted for a little while, then you guys went on the test drive? Give me those details. How
Yeah, I
old?
mean, it's not a whole lot more to that story, to be honest. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I'm guessing we chatted for a couple minutes, but it wasn't like we got to know them super well. It's a family. They looked nice enough. They looked like they were
Okay,
potential buyers. The kids were
sure.
young, probably, under 5 years old.
And how was his reaction to it? Was he like, "Yeah, like, go in the house, guys"?
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
was fine with it.
He was fine with
Oh,
it.
interesting. Okay, so how did it turn out? Did he buy the
Well,
van?
I mean, what do you think? Like, do you host the family? Do you invite them in, or do you be like, well, this is kind of your issue. Why don't you wait in your own car and just leave it running there?
Yeah, that'd be kind of difficult. So
Yeah.
I would probably what would roll through my mind is all those questions that I just asked you. Is like, do I get a good vibe off these guys? Do they look really shady? Are they weird characters? But to start it off, this wouldn't ever happen to me because nobody is coming to my house and I'm buying stuff off of Facebook Marketplace
Okay.
from
Yeah. Well, this is a
or
whole other
selling.
issue. Yeah. So if you're selling a car, you're gonna meet somebody somewhere, or if you're selling something to somebody, like, without shipping it to them, you're gonna actually go find a meeting spot. You're not willing to let somebody come to your house, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I would like to say that I'm that guy, but to be honest with you, when I sold my motorcycle, the kid came to my house and bought my motorcycle from me.
Okay.
So
And
I
sometimes just
can't say
heavy
that I haven't.
things like furniture, you're not gonna like meet somebody somewhere with a couch.
Yeah, you
So
can't.
you got to make exceptions for these rules. So we probably could have met somewhere. So that's actually not a bad idea. And
Mhm.
in retrospect, I should have done that. But yeah, the outcome was the guy didn't want to buy the van.
Mm,
And so we just hosted for no reason. I mean, it's okay to show hospitality and to love on
yeah,
people. It's, not, you don't always have to have a transaction go with it. It was just, it felt like we were putting in a lot of effort, and it was sort of, I don't know, we were kind of put in a situation where it felt bad to say no, but really it was on them. They shouldn't have just shown up and expected
yeah.
to come into our house, right?
Right. Yeah, no, that was bad character of them. But it showed good
Bad
character of you.
character of them.
It showed good character of you and Jessica to be like, yeah, come on into my house. When you guys hungry, to grab some toys. And that, to be honest with you, that's probably what I would do because I'm just a nice guy like that. And I think that that's I hate to say it, but maybe a downfall of my
Mhm.
character is I'm really trusting and invite people in and get along with them really well. But I would have to roll through the list of factors. Do I get the creeps from these people? Are they clean cut? I
Right.
mean, that's being kind of stereotypic also.
Absolutely, 100%.
I mean,
Are
you don't have to
they
be,
got a nice haircut? They're probably safe.
yeah, but I mean, you know how that goes. If you get somebody that's pretty shady, they're usually not taking care of themselves. If somebody's on
Yeah.
drugs, they're probably not taking care of themselves if they're, a
Yeah.
thief. But no,
Uh,
I do know plenty of good guys that aren't exactly dressed in character. You know what I mean?
what is it in Lord of the Rings? J.R.R. Tolkien said, "All that is gold does not glitter." So yeah, getting a vibe from somebody is definitely different than just kind
Mhm.
of like what you're suggesting. I think you're suggesting the vibe, but looking kind of just breaking things down. You have to break it down in the moment, and people can be very deceptive. So I think that
Yeah.
the safe thing is, don't, if you're going to have people in your house moving furniture and this kind of thing, you want to have them in and out. You don't want to have your family there. You don't want to have anything sensitive out or anything
Mhm.
revealing, just that they might want to come back for more, basically. So just got to be
Right.
careful.
And I think it's because, Jennifer and I, we had the van stolen last November and it really, really
You
jaded
can't just
us
throw that
on
out as
people.
like a little, oh, and by the way, you got to tell the story, Mike. What, you got your van stolen? What's going on with that?
Yeah. So last November, we were just talking about this because it's been exactly a year since it happened, but we're flying out to Mexico. We're going to a friend's destination wedding. We just bought the van. We're starting to build it out. We're at the John Muir house in Martinez. We watched our van, Carl, drive away from us from the parking lot
Right.
with our passports in it and everything else. So flying out the next day, no passports are gone.
Mm-hmm.
They recovered the van about a half mile up the freeway. Passports were gone. We're out of the trip. Luckily, we had trip insurance, but it was just a feeling of violation that
Oh
was
yeah.
just
Yeah.
it was horrible. And for a month, when I'd wake up in the morning, first thing I do, I go look at the van,
Right.
after we got it back home. And it was just
Mm-hmm.
so much trauma in there. So I think that's where I am so particular on who comes over to my house or if I'd
Mm-hmm.
invite strangers over. Because, like you said, who knows if they're going to be out there scoping out the house or not? Like, oh, I don't want this or that, but that TV that you have on your wall, I might want
Mm-hmm.
one. I might want that one of these
Right.
days.
Right. 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 That's so funny.
Yeah,
So funny.
it's just
Yeah.
hard.
It's tough. Yeah. I can't imagine going through that. And yeah, the violation, I think, is the big issue. But I forget, did
Yeah.
they ever catch those folks?
They did not. They did not
Okay.
catch him, and to be honest with you, it's a slap on the wrist. Even the officer, he was like, I take reports all the time in this area, and most of the time, even if I catch them, I have we let them go right there.
Mm,
It's a book and release type of thing.
right.
And he said a lot of the time, or I wouldn't say a lot of the time, but a few of the times he's caught somebody red-handed with the car. And
Mhm.
when he asked the person, why'd you steal the car? He's like, oh, I just needed a ride across town and I couldn't afford the bus. And
Right.
so they're stealing cars just to get a ride somewhere. And it's
Right.
like, it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just a
I hear
slap on the
all I
wrist.
hear
Drives me
is
crazy.
welcome to California.
Ready to go home. Ready to go to, I'll move out to Castle Rock, California. I mean, Castle Rock, Colorado. Why do I call it California all
You
the
just
time?
want me to live in California, but
I do.
it's not happening, man. Not happening. So lovely place to visit. Love California and got some trips
So
planned there for 2023, but I'll make sure I lock the car. How about that?
looking forward to seeing you. You're coming out
Yeah,
for dinner, right?
absolutely, man. Yeah, just kind of swing
Nice.
around the corner there
I've
into the
only been
far
inviting you
reaches of
for
Northern California.
I've only been inviting you for 3 years now, and you're finally
I
gonna
know.
come over for dinner.
It'll get there. We'll get there.
Nice. Well,
So, all right.
looking
Well,
forward.
okay, I got another one here. So, and speaking of awkward, like definitely having your van drive away as you're watching it with passports inside, like that's probably the king of them all, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't relate to picking it all,
Painful.
but it's just really uncomfortable. So I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Okay, so this is also from a long time ago, and this is another situation where somebody's coming into my house. I've since figured this one out as well in terms of how to not have them in my house. But early on, when I wasn't sourcing a lot of stuff, it was like every sale was kind of a bigger deal. And so I was selling a Nintendo Wii video game system. Okay. And I think so now if I sell a video game system, I'll take a picture of it working. So like, here's the proof it's working,
Mhm.
like here's evidence, but I don't know why I didn't think to do that at the time. I think it was harder to kind of like load things on, or there was limited pictures, or I don't know, other issues. But anyway, so I didn't do that. And then sometimes people would say, well, can you show me? I want you to show me that it works. And sometimes they wouldn't. So I guess I took that risk too. And I had a guy show up and he's like, I want you to show me that it works. And so I hook it up and he had a different game, a different disc called GameCube that the Wii is supposed to play. And the
Uh-huh.
one that he pulls out is like a $50 game. He's like, I
Mhm.
want to make sure this thing works. And I had tested it out and I had tested the regular Wii games on it and it worked fine. He puts in his his $50 game, inserts it. I think it works fine. He goes to eject it. It doesn't come out.
Oh no.
It's stuck. And man, I've looked up like videos on YouTube. There's probably a hack, but I've tried lots of different things in terms of like trying to get stuck discs out of, anything really.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes they're easy. A lot of times they're not. This is not one of the trays that kind of kicks out. This is one where it
Yeah.
just kind of inserts and ejects, just kind of spits in, spits out.
Right.
So now he has his expensive game in a device that he has not yet purchased.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
That is tough.
Yes. All right. Good
Well,
analysis, Mike. Good analysis.
I'm trying to process this one.
What do
Man,
you
no.
do? You haven't
Well,
sold it yet, and he's either lost his game or he's wrecked your system at this point. So, like, this is awkward.
I know.
Very awkward.
Very awkward situation. What did you guys just look at each other like now what, or what did you
I
do?
spent a few minutes trying to figure out how to get it out. I was looking stuff up. It doesn't matter, man. I want to know what you're gonna do the situation. You're like, I don't know. So how do you handle it?
You want 100% honesty?
Yeah.
I'm gonna offer the guy $50 and then I'll give him the Wii also because I don't want to deal with it. It's too awkward
Okay.
for me.
Yeah.
No, if I was to do it, I wouldn't. I don't think I would have let him put a game in there in the first place. I
Well,
don't know
that's
why.
the
I would have
solution,
used
right? Is like, okay, I tested the Wii games. You want to put your own game in there, you can do that when it's yours.
no.
But I learned that lesson now after that.
Yeah. No, and he's right there in front of you. You guys are
Yeah,
face to face. The
in
game
my
stuck.
house.
What is he? Is he sitting there telling you, "Well, give me my disc back. Give me my disc back. Why isn't it spitting it out?"
Yeah, he was patient. He was a nice guy.
Man, that's tough. That's
Yeah.
I'd probably do the same thing that you did and try to get the disc back out.
Okay.
And then the real awkward part is when the disc doesn't come out. What do
It
you do?
didn't come out.
Do you break the Wii apart
Yeah.
until the disc comes out? And
Right.
then you ruin your stuff. that would probably be the route that I would go. I'd probably end up breaking the Wii apart and getting his disc back, but then I just destroyed one of my products.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're out, you're out the sale and then you're
Mm-hmm.
out the money you put down to buy the item, right?
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
he's wasted a trip at this point, and so he hopefully gets his disc back. I don't know. Those things can be pretty hard to open, that Nintendo stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
what we ended up doing was he kind of semi took some responsibility for it. I was like, I didn't test one of those things. I just tested the Wii games. I can't speak to that. I didn't know that's
Yeah.
what you were gonna do. I wasn't like, he kind of threw me a curveball by even like, he didn't tell me ahead of time he's gonna do that. So he's like, how about, I think I had it listed at 6. He's like, how about I give you 30 for it and I'll just take it and figure it out. And so I was like, that's fine. But really,
What?
really, I should have got the full 60 on that one, because that was kind of like his curveball. And I don't know. I guess I didn't handle it on the spot very well, but that's what we ended up doing. What do you think?
Why would he give you $30 for something that he's going to break that he knows doesn't work? Something shady.
Yeah, he
My
might have,
my
no, not necessarily. He might have, well, no, he really wanted he wasn't trying to scam me. He really wanted to get to play that disc, but I think he had to figure out how to I think he was optimistic that he could get it out, basically.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's just still kind of shady. If he is optimistic, then he's like getting it half off, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
So
I'm just jaded with all the scams and I'm
I
worried
know,
about
I
them.
know, I know.
It's hard.
Yeah. So I don't do, I mean, nobody's coming to my house now to test that stuff out anyway, but yeah, live and learn, live and learn. Okay. Give me one of yours, man.
You just don't have people come to your house, Carl. That's how you avoid all this stuff. Just don't have
Ah,
people
I've
come to
sold
your
so
house.
much stuff when people come to my house. So much stuff. These are,
I know
this is
you
like
give
the
me
one
anxiety.
percenter.
You give me anxiety when I was at your house and you're like, oh yeah, somebody's gonna come and pick something off the front porch. I'm like, you're not gonna go out and meet him? No, no, he paid me on Venmo already. It's sitting outside. I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
you get two styles of porch pickups. You get the people that like leave the cash under the mat. You get people that pay Venmo sometimes ahead of time and they just come and grab it. So that's super convenient. That's
Yeah.
like the best, right?
And you know what? Most of the people in this world are good people. Don't get me wrong. And if you're already judging me out there in YouTube lands, don't judge me so quickly.
Well, Mike and I
The
live in very
fact
different areas too. I think Mike lives in like a higher crime zone than I live in. Is that fair to say?
that the state of California,
No, you don't. Yes, we're accounting for the entire state of California,
the
the millions
entire
of
state of
people.
California. No,
Eureka, California. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, no, it's not a bad city either. Just petty theft is petty theft, and everybody's going to
Mm,
take advantage of one way or another.
right.
So, and
Okay.
I
You didn't really
honestly,
answer the question, but that's okay.
I don't know how jaded or how come I'm so jaded lately. It's kind of crazy. It's got
Mm,
to be because of the van being
yeah.
stolen.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a life, like a traumatic life event. So that makes sense,
Mhm.
actually. So, all right.
Yep.
What's your story, man? What you got?
All right. So my story is, I've told you before, and for the listeners out there, I bought a Chevy Express. We're converting it into a camper van or a travel van. Well, I have I bought like the minimum amount of solar that I could fit on there, and for my budget at the time. Well, I ended up finding on Facebook Marketplace this guy that had a 200-watt solar panel. So I have two 100-watt solar panels that I paid $100 each for. He's got one 200-watt solar panel for $100,
Mm,
120. So, and he's got great pictures of them. I looked them up. I looked at them. They're good quality. They're great, exactly what I needed. And I'm looking to put 200 watts more on the van because the just 200s that I have on there, it's just not cutting it for our needs that we have in the van. And so I'm like, Facebook Marketplace, great. I got to buy this off of Facebook Marketplace. And so I messaged him. I was like, hey, are the solar panels, do you still have some? Because he said he had like 3 or 4 of them left. And he's like, yeah, I do. I go, cool. When are you going to be available? And then we agreed on Friday to come down, to go down to one town below me. And I'm like, so I'm checking his Facebook profile. I'm looking at all of his friends and his friends and just seeing what kind of nonsense he posts, just if it's all like, I don't know, just any kind of red flags, right?
right.
So I take screenshots of all of his Facebook friends and his Facebook profile, and and I agree to meet this guy, and I send it to Jen. I text her. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go meet this guy down in Fortuna. Here's his profile. If I go missing, this is the last
Oh
person that
my
saw me.
gosh.
Okay. No, it's even more ridiculous when I'm
Oh
saying it
my
in my
gosh.
own head.
Yeah.
But just being cautious, right? So she texts me back. She's like, turn on your location on your phone. I'm like, perfect. That's a great idea. So I get down there and meet the guy. He's so nice, Carl. He's a nice guy. He's a handyman. He ended up he buys stuff at auction. He ended up buying a semi truck full of these panels. And
Oh,
I'm like, how did you buy so many? And he goes, I thought I was buying 10 of them, and it was 10 lots of 10 solar panels that he ended up buying.
oh
I
my
know.
goodness.
He goes, my
Which
wife
auction is this? I want to
was,
go to that auction. That's amazing.
yeah, it was somewhere up in Alaska, I want to
Okay.
say that he went to.
Gotcha.
And he's like, yeah, my wife was pretty upset when he came home with 1,000 solar panels, 1,200 watt solar
Oh
panels.
my gosh. How big are they?
They're 200 watts. So, and it comes out to about, I think it was 66 inches by, I think they're 66 by 33s. So they're a little
So
bit
they're
too,
big, man. They're big.
yeah, it is big. And it's a little bit too big for my van, which is no big deal. I have other plans that I want to do with solar panels. It was a great deal on solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the funny thing is that then we talked for about a half an hour. We're talking about solar panels. We're talking about charge controllers. We're talking about lithium lipo batteries. We're talking,
It's a
we're
different
all over the
podcast.
place.
Okay. All right.
I know. But it just goes to show that, I totally judged this book by its cover, and I'm
Mm,
like convinced that Facebook Marketplace is the devil, and it's just
right.
gonna be bad stuff all over the place.
Right.
So we finish up. He's got his wife in his car. We finish up chatting. And it's maybe half an hour in there, and I go and I text Jen. I'm like, hey, everything's okay. Turned out to be a really nice guy. And the way that I phrased it was, it turned out he turned out to be a pretty nice guy. He's the type of guy that I'd probably invite over for dinner.
Yeah.
And she replies back, she's like, oh, my little extrovert making friends wherever he goes off of
That's right.
Facebook Marketplace.
That's so
So
funny, man.
I over exaggerate that people are going to be the worst, and they always
People
surprise
are
me
gonna
time after
be
time.
the
I know,
worst. Oh my God. Oh, I just hit that thing.
I
Sorry
know.
about that.
So
Okay, so just I'm trying to break down your thoughts and your analysis here. So from my minivan story, you're like, you gotta judge a book by its cover. And from your solar panel story, you're like, you can't judge a book by its cover.
and I'm pulling up in a white van, right?
I
With
know
no
you're the one
windows.
that's more risky, I suppose.
I
So that's
know.
a good story, though. It's a good lesson learned. I think it's good to be cautious, especially if you're going to meet in a public place. I mean, if you're really like concerned about a purchase or a sale, people do meet at the police station. That is a common
Yeah.
meeting spot in the parking lot. So something to think about. But yeah. All right, I got one more for you.
All right. What do you got?
This one, I've got a couple. I've got some that are similar to this. This is not the only time something like this has happened. So I don't know. I don't always have a solution for this, but I guess there's sort of a solution. But I used to sell a bunch of treadmills. I used to find treadmills really cheap at
Wow.
garage sales. And sometimes they were like a little wonky where like the belt was kind of just, going like rubbing or something. And I figured out how to fix them.
Mhm.
And you can like they would sell here in Colorado, they would sell within 24 hours. They're
Mm.
obviously beasts to move, right? Like you're putting in the
Right.
effort to move them, and I was probably damaging the minivan when I slid it inside. But I did make a lot of money on treadmills, so
Mhm.
I might do that again. I don't know, but the one that I found was really small, and so I wasn't gonna make as much money on this. I think I bought it for like $5-10, and I was selling it for like
Mhm.
$60. It was small, and I listed it. It got some interest. It was one of those that like gets a lot of interest, and then nobody shows up, and then finally somebody shows up. It
Mhm.
was a lady. She was super nice, but she shows up with like a Honda Accord to move a treadmill.
Yeah.
And she's like eyeballing it. She's like, this is pretty small. Don't you think if we put the back seats down, I could just kind of slide it in the
Uh,
side? What do you do?
I put the back seats down and slide into the back for her and just tie her tailgate down or her trunk down.
Problem solved. Yeah. So that's
Problem
what I tried
solved.
to do. I
Did
was
you?
like, she was so nice. I was like, I'll try. I don't think this is gonna fit, but I'm gonna try. And of course, it
Yeah.
didn't. It didn't
Oh.
fit. So she gives me the money, and she's like,
Uh,
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to come back with a bigger vehicle. And I was like, you pay it. I'll hang on to it for you.
yeah.
A week later, she hasn't come back. I still have her money, and
Uh-huh.
she reaches out. She's like, I can't find a bigger vehicle.
Yeah.
And I think she lived far, so it wasn't really worth my time to do the drop off.
Mhm.
So now you got her cash. She's not coming back, and she says, just keep the money.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah. So what do you do?
Wow. I definitely want to keep her money, but it depends on how far away. You guys are kind of you're a little bit more spread out than we are. Like if somebody is going to do a pickup for me, it's going to be a local
Not too far
pickup.
away. Yeah.
And I would have just taken it. I do it all the time.
Hmm.
I haul stuff for friends and stuff like that. So,
Right.
but I'm not keeping the money. She's getting it back one way or the other.
Okay.
And I probably would have used a tape measure instead of trying to force it into her little Honda Civic
Right.
and figured out that it wasn't going to fit. No, I've
Wise.
definitely done that.
Wise.
I've definitely tried to shove a square peg in a round hole many,
Yeah.
many times in my life.
I don't know what I was thinking. The tape measures are super obvious. Sometimes though, you just think, well, you kind of eyeball. You're like, that should
Yeah.
fit,
Yeah.
and then you get kind of into a mess there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
No.
did send the money back, and I ended up selling it to somebody else. It was just a hassle, and you're wrenching your back, throwing the treadmill around in an awkward situation. Whereas like you slide into a truck, it kind of goes in nice and easy, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so now what I need to do is I need to ask, like, hey, if it's something big, are you bringing a truck? Are you bringing a big enough vehicle? Because I just
Oh.
last summer sold a bed that had so many parts and pieces to it. It was like a queen size bed with a massive frame, and she showed up with an SUV and was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be able to fit all this." And so then I kind of got stuck,
Oh.
and I ended up moving it for her, but it was like a day that it was an effort, and it took a chunk
Yeah.
out of a day that I needed for preparing for something else. So
Sure.
I should have asked. I should have asked, man. I should
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
That's a good tip. Ask on the big items. Ask
Yeah.
if you know if you can if they're gonna bring something big enough. Was that the bed that you guys were taking apart when I was there? I remember you guys were disassembling a bed while I was
Oh
there.
yeah. We had like a summer of beds. So what ended up happening was our kids outgrew their beds. We had to sell those beds, and then we bought a bed from somebody else that was like the next size up that we hit,
Mm-hmm.
and we already had a mattress for it and everything. And then they had already disassembled the bed, so we went and we bought it, and then it was like they told us the wrong size,
Oh,
and
so the
so
mattress didn't fit.
so the mattress didn't fit, and so we were hemming and hawing about what to do with that. But they gave us such a good price, we ended up flipping it to that lady I was just describing, and we got more money out of it. I think we made like $50 on it. So
Nice.
it wasn't. I mean, I don't think it was worth it because we put it together, we moved it, put it together, took it apart. It was kind of a lot of
Oh,
effort, but at least there was some
right.
saving grace. So yeah, I would also ask if it's like a really big heavy thing. Like I don't mind helping people move stuff, but I'd also ask if they have somebody who's coming that can help move as well. That way,
Mm-hmm.
it's not, how that goes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
We
the
had
kicker the kicker was like when I dropped the bed off to that with that lady, I show up and like in her driveway is this big massive van, like one of those Sprinter vans that could
Mhm.
have easily fit it, and she just wanted to take care of herself and not have her son-in-law help her out. And I was like, oh, you're
Ah,
taking advantage of me, and I lost that one.
right. Well,
So there you
you
go.
lost that one, but you're a good guy for winning it. So you won it because you're a good guy.
Okay. You're being nice. But anyway,
Takes.
we got all sorts of train wreck stuff. So for those of people out there that have their own train wreck stuff, fellow pickers, like what can we learn from you? So please share your train wrecks. Please email your stories at Pickers Podcast on Instagram. What else we got, Mike?
Got Instagram. We got Facebook, Pickers Podcast on Facebook. You can catch our YouTube videos at Pickers Podcast
Yeah,
over
if you're
on
watching
YouTube.
on YouTube, sorry to cut you off. Just go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. And yeah, we'd love to hear your experiences, what you've learned, and Mike will just relish the awkwardness, right?
Tell us your awkwardness. Make the more you make me feel awkward, the better for Carl. Hey, do you know that
True. True.
YouTube's actually doing pretty good? We've got a couple thousand views on one of the videos. We're getting a lot of subscribers this weekend. I just kept getting all these pings for subscribers.
Really? Are you being
Man,
serious?
yeah, it's pretty neat. We got a couple
Okay.
comments, replied to them this weekend.
Okay. Good
So
deal, man. Yeah.
we love the interaction. It's great. Can I tell you one more story? This is gonna
Yeah.
be great.
Okay.
Okay. Back 2010, 2011, I wasn't in the best time of my life, right? I was doing some
Okay.
really, really bad things. I have a really, really shady past for any of you guys that don't know me personally, but I needed a car stereo. I was hanging out with some really bad people. They had a
Okay.
car stereo. I didn't know these people very well.
Okay.
Ended up meeting them at a park. They're in a van, and I pull up to the van. And I'm like, "Hey, what's going on? Show me the stereo." They're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, come on, get in. We'll show it to you." And I'm like, "No, no,
Okay.
no, no, no. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm gonna stay outside of the van." And they're like, "No, no, no, no. Get in. We'll show it to you. It's inside." And just all the red flags started going off, man. You know what I did? I got in the van with them. Luckily, nothing happened. I don't know
Yeah.
why they wanted me to get in the van, but that was just like, that's horror movie stuff right there. It's like shady characters. Hey, get in my van right here. I'll show you the stereo I have. That probably was stolen from somebody else, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't
What
know.
w-
I don't know the
what would
situation.
you do in that situation? Would you get in the van with them?
Probably not for a purchase, but I have gotten in vehicle. I mean, I've hitchhiked before, man.
Mm.
I've done lots of hitchhiking with my backpacking career. I got in one car up in Washington State when I was exiting a trail sooner than I was planning to, and I mean, I was like miles from any airport or bus stop or whatever, and so I was just hitchhiking. It was like raining outside. These guys pull over, and the first thing they asked me, they're like, "Hey, you're not going to murder us, are you?" It's like,
No, are
ah,
you?
you're pretty safe right now with me. I know. Yeah. Are you going to murder me?
Yeah.
Let's have an agreement. No murdering going on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm not shy about getting in, but with something like that, I don't know. I do get contacted every once in a while. I've tried different things in terms of like sourcing where I've reached out and kind of posted things on Craigslist or Facebook, and people
Mhm.
have reached out with stolen goods, and you can tell depending upon what the good is. And so I try to just like, you know, I don't even meet with them. I just, once I figure out the situation, I just kind of like casually, graciously back out of the conversation. And that's
Mhm.
my style.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But good question,
It's
man.
sad that we have to look out for these things, but it's a fact of life right now in the society that we live in and the way things are going. So just be careful
Correct.
out there. Be
Be
careful with
careful out
what you're
there.
doing.
Okay. Hey, man, for this week, I actually have a challenge for you.
Uh-oh. Challenge. Is it an awkward challenge? Please make it be
No,
an
it
awkward
could be.
challenge.
It could be, but it's not. So this is something that I just thought of, and I thought maybe I might start throwing challenges at you. Feel free to throw
Okay.
challenges at me, but you're starting to, post quite a few things on eBay at this point, and
Yeah.
we've talked about,
52.
like you want to take pictures from every angle. You want to do this. You want to do that. You want to
Uh-huh.
entice them. You want to make it look professional, whatever. So here's the challenge,
Okay,
and
what do
I'm
you
up
got?
for taking this challenge as well. Is post a picture this week for something you're selling on eBay and make it a unique picture. Just do something funny. Maybe you can be in the picture making a funny face. Maybe you're dressed up. Maybe you have like a weird item next to it. I don't know. Just take a ridiculous picture where it still features the item and see if you get any more hits on it, you get any more watches, or if it happens to sell faster. Like, does taking some sort of ridiculous picture to catch somebody's eye, does it do anything for you, or is it more of a hindrance?
I have the perfect thing. It would be a
Okay.
video, but it's that TINS unit that I have, the electrode
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
things. The only problem is it's brand new. I can't put it together. I can't do that one.
No, you
But
can't
that
take it out
one,
of the package.
no, that one would be funny. Like, have you ever seen the videos where they're trying to drink a Coke or a beer and they have the TINS units on them and they can make their arm jerk? Oh, that would have been
I
great.
haven't seen it. No,
No.
I just take a picture, man.
Oh, we could go in so many different directions with
Yeah.
this. It'd be
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Okay, challenge accepted. I
Yeah,
just
challenge
sourced a bunch
accepted.
of stuff.
Throw it on the socials. Maybe even make a video that you can throw on like the YouTube shorts or something. I'll
Mhm.
try to figure something out as well. I know it's Thanksgiving week, so who knows if we
Mhm.
have time for this, but that's just my challenge. Okay.
Challenge accepted. And those are
Okay.
fun too.
Yeah, thanks. I'll keep thinking of some. So
Okay.
that's all I got for this episode, my friend.
All right, man. As always, it is great to sit and chat with you about reselling and making me feel as awkward as you can. I really appreciate it. I've been dreading it all day. All right.
All right, fellow pickers, go find your own treasures one story at a time.
And remember, it's not reselling if it sits in the trunk of your car.